Truck drivers, thank you for keeping the U.S. economy rolling. I'm Trey Griggs, and this is Behind the Wheel, powered by HireMaster. Let's go. For those considering a career in truck driving, income and lifestyle are the two questions most often asked. For Clarissa Rankin, a former substitute teacher who decided to start her own trucking company, the answers have been clear: a solid income and a lifestyle she truly enjoys. According to Rankin, who also has a massive following on TikTok, she said, quote, "Having your own truck comes with a lot of freedom," end quote. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility, such as maintenance costs, fuel, and other expenses. After all of that, her take-home pay in 2021 was around $73,000, significantly higher than her pay as a teacher. But more importantly is the lifestyle. She loves being out on the road, seeing different parts of the country, and ensuring products are delivered to customers and consumers so they have what they need. Although buying a truck and starting a company isn't for everyone, there are plenty of opportunities to become a truck driver by searching through the more than 85,000 truck driving jobs on hiremaster.com. Last week, we had a clip from Dr. Mark Manera of Supply Chain Fitness giving tips for quick knee exercises while on the road. For this week's health and fitness tip, we go back out to Dr. Mark Manera for another great tip.
If you're a truck driver and trying to eat healthier out on the road, I got you. Every single week on this page, we do a snack of the week to help you stock your truck up with the healthiest options out on the road. And this week is non-fat Greek yogurt. It's easy to find at any truck stop, it's high in protein, and it's a great snack. So if you're trying to find some healthier food options out there, stock your truck up with some Greek yogurt.
Thank you, Dr. Mark. You can find more tips from Mark on TikTok at Dr. Mark Manera. In the news this week, O.O.I.D.A, a national organization representing professional truck drivers, is one of the principal backers of the Guaranteeing Overtime for Truckers Act, which is a legislation that would repeal the motor carrier exemption in the FLSA that excludes company drivers from overtime protections. The legislation was introduced in the House back in April and repealed in the Senate in September. Lewis Pugh, the executive vice president for the Owner-Operator Independent Trucking Association, said, quote, "If this legislation were to pass, the big carriers would be able to pressure shippers and receivers to load their drivers who are on the clock sitting at the loading dock. And raising driver pay will raise the rates, which will have a downstream economic effect whereby the smaller owner-operators will be able to raise their rates as well," end quote. Also in the news this week, the National Hurricane Center categorized Hurricane Nicole as a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour for local Florida residents. Ports in the southeastern Florida, such as Port Miami, Port Canaveral, Port Everglades, and Jacksport, braced for impact and were closed in advance of the storm. All gates were closed with no operations running until winds resided. The ports of Savannah and Brunswick in Georgia, along with the ports of Charleston in South Carolina, remained open and continued operations during the storm. In a late briefing, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said, quote, "The wind field from the storm is very large, and we expect impacts to stretch far beyond the center track, including tropical storm force winds as far north as Jacksonville. Winds are the main concern with Nicole, but we also expect to see some heavy rains, the potential for flash flooding, and 3 to 5 feet of storm surge in some areas," end quote. President Biden has ordered federal assistance to aid Floridians impacted during this hurricane season due to substantial damage and power outages in more than 300,000 homes. In this week's Weather Watch segment, a potent shortwave tracking across the U.S. Central Plains and Southern Rockies is producing the region's first snow of the season. Light snow has already developed across New Mexico, and West Central Oklahoma is expecting 3 to 6 inches of snow. Heavy rainfall is forecasted across southern Louisiana, expanding to the Mississippi Valley. As cold air continues to grip the nation and high temperatures are forecasted to remain 10 to 20 degrees below average through the work week, locations as far south as the Gulf Coast and Florida Panhandle will dip into the 30s on Monday morning, with freeze warnings being issued across central Alabama and Georgia, as well as further north in the mid-Atlantic. And that's going to do it for Behind the Wheel. I'm Trey Griggs. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to the YouTube channel to catch each episode. Leave us a like and a comment. We'll see you next time on Behind the Wheel, powered by HireMaster.